It finally happened. After months and months of practice, I finally got the one-handed PR average that I've been after. An 1163 one-handed average that puts me at 63rd in the world and got me first place at Sioux Falls Spring 2022. There's just one small problem. I didn't record it. But no, don't click away from this video just yet. You're still going to get a lot from it, whether or not you care about one-handed. So let's get right into it. So one really important thing to note is that I drove to this competition by myself, which is something that I've never done before. Normally my dad goes there with me, but since he wasn't here, I was updating him about what was going on all day via text. So when I finally got this really awesome one-handed average after what was otherwise mostly a lackluster day of competing, I was really excited and I took a picture of the scorecard and sent it to him with the caption, "I fucking did it," in all caps. And of course I'm really excited and he's really excited, but then eventually he asks me if I got any of it on camera. And then I have to tell him that I didn't, and he's like, "No video?" And I'm just stuck there like, there is no better summation of the past year of BrodytheCuber than those two words. So it is kind of sad that the one competition where I finally get the PR that I've been after for so long is the one competition where my dad wasn't there and that there's also no video for him or anyone else to watch. But despite that, I'm still really solid and consistent in my choice not to record my solves. In fact, I haven't recorded any of my official solves since I started competing again post-pandemic, which is why there are no videos of my 997 official one-handed single, my 740 3x3 average, my 618, 602, and 592 3x3 singles, or my 735 official 3x3 average. The only videos of official solves that I have since then are my 864 official one-handed single and 4 out of 5 solves from my 731 3x3 average. And I only have those because other people were recording for me. There's going to be a really exciting video about that 731 average coming up really soon, by the way. So I am deliberately missing out on capturing a big part of my competition history by not recording these solves, but still I stand by it, and this video's main purpose is to talk about why. I have chosen to not record my official solves for 2 reasons. One of them's competitive, and one of them is protective. First of all, when it comes to being competitive, I want to be able to put 100% of my focus into the solve I'm doing or that I'm about to do. And having to record myself in any capacity takes away from that focus. Even if it's a little bit, it takes away from it. I know that sounds silly, but hear me out. Let's say that I'm trying to record an official average with my DSLR camera. That means that every time I'm in the waiting area, I need to be holding onto the camera, and then when I'm called up to a station, I need to turn it on, and then I use my cell phone to sort of prop it up so it gets the angle right. I need to flip around the screen to make sure that it's capturing everything the way it's supposed to. I need to hit record, flip the screen back around so I'm not breaking the rules, and then I can start my pre-solve routine. But I have to do all of that stuff before that on every single solve. You can see how that starts to get really distracting for me. If I just wanted to use my cell phone, it would be a little bit easier, but I would still have to bring a mini tripod and then set that up every time. And because there is no flip around screen, I just have to point it and then hope that it captures everything I want it to. And with either of those options, I get a little bit of anxiety during my solves about whether when someone stops the timer or when I stop the timer, that's going to shake the table and make my camera fall off the table. Maybe your brain doesn't work like this, but my ADHD brain does, and because of that, it's just too distracting for me to have to deal with recording myself while I'm competing. The other reason that I'm not recording my solves is pretty well established by this point. Because of my high speed and my high profile with this channel, any sort of official solves that I upload are going to get thousands of views. And with that many pairs of eyes seeing my averages, there is a non-zero chance that one of them will see something that will retroactively get my solves either +2'd or DNF'd. And just to be clear, I am not talking about cheating. Neither I or anyone else who's fast and chooses not to record their official solves is doing that in order to get away with cheating. And people who do record their solves and get them penalized afterwards are not getting caught cheating. There is a big difference between something being cheating and something being against the WCA regulations. Let me give you some examples. WCA regulation A3C1 says that you are not allowed to turn your puzzle during inspection, and this is a really good rule. This rule is there to stop cheating by doing extra moves to make it easier to plan farther during inspection, or even by just solving the cube during your inspection. Both are things that a competitor would choose to do in order to get an advantage. But let's compare that to this Drew Brad's Pyraminx solve from 2014, where one of the layers gets turned barely over halfway during inspection and Drew immediately fixes it. It still breaks regulation A3C1, but it wasn't done intentionally and Drew didn't gain any sort of advantage from it. You can still argue that the solve should have been DNF'd, and it was, but I would not call that cheating. And here's the really important part. If that solve had not been recorded and posted, it would have never been DNF'd. There are a few more prominent cases of things like this, like a Max Park 6x6 solve where he touches the camera during inspection, and Max Park's 644 one-handed misscramble. But on the exact same day that I got that one-handed average, there was yet another possible case of this on a world record Megaminx average by Leandro Martin Lopez. In the inspection on the first and best solve of his average, LML turned one of the layers and turned it back, and that started an entire online debate about whether this turn went over halfway and whether the solve should be DNF'd because of it. Here's my take on the situation. Whether or not this turn went over halfway, which is where it could legally be DNF'd, I think this case is basically identical to the one with Drew Brad's. The turning was accidental and it was fixed immediately, and so there was no advantage gained from it. And because of that, I don't think that this solve should be DNF'd. Regardless, I don't think this is a turn that went over halfway, but it is really hard to tell. Either way, the record currently stands, but it's not clear if that's because the WCA decided the turn didn't go halfway, or if they decided that didn't matter, or if they just haven't looked at that at all. Once again, there are two really important takeaways. None of these people were trying to cheat. There were WCA regulations that were broken for reasons almost or entirely out of their control, and none of them gained any advantage from that. And the second really important point is, yet again, if they hadn't recorded and posted the solves, they wouldn't have ever been penalized. This might be a little bit of a hot take, but I see penalizing people in these situations as a bit of a WCA regulations loophole. These rules are in place to stop people from cheating, but here they are being used against people who very clearly aren't cheating. However, my issue here isn't with the WCA regulations. I think all of the rules in place here are completely reasonable. Misscrambles shouldn't count as world records, you shouldn't be able to turn during your inspection, all of that is completely fair. What I don't like is that it is explicitly written into the regulations that you can't use video evidence to help you, with very few exceptions, but it can be used to harm you even after the fact, and this is being used disproportionately against fast people who aren't trying to break the rules and aren't gaining anything from it. Hey guys, this is Editor Brody, and I'm jumping in real quick because on camera Brody made a mistake in what he was saying there. I need to give credit to the WCA where credit is due. The thing about not letting video evidence help you is not quite correct. According to Regulation 11F, decisions about an incident may be supported with video or photographic analysis at the discretion of the WCA delegate. So it's not correct to say that video evidence cannot be used to help you with very few exceptions, which is what Brody said there. That is not correct. This regulation is still more vague than I would like, but it was not correct to say what Brody said there. The rest of the points in that section still stand though. I want to make it clear here that I'm no expert and nothing that I say should be taken as gospel. I have no say in what the WCA does, and even if I did, I have no clue how my opinions would be codified into the regulations. But I do think there needs to be an addition to the rules here. I don't think that video evidence should be able to be used against you in this way. I think the standard should be different for after the fact changing people's results. I don't think seeing a video and just seeing a rule being broken should be enough. I think at the very least there needs to be proof that the competitor gained some sort of advantage from it, And you could even argue that there should be proof that the competitor intentionally did something to gain that advantage. Until those changes happen, you are taking a risk every time you record your official solves and post them online. So for the time being, here's what I'm going to do. Whenever I can, I'm going to ask other people to record my official solves for me. And then if it's too much of a bother to either get them to do it or show them how I want them to do it, then no worries. Getting good official results takes priority for me over getting good video of them. So yeah, if you wanted to see my official one-handed average, I'm sorry. But honestly, I could just as easily post faster and better solves that I get at home. You're not missing out on much, and by not recording my solves, I'm making it easier for me to get better times in competition and protecting myself against those times being penalized. So thank you guys for watching this video. I know I gave some hot takes and stuff, but that's what I wanted to do. So thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, do all that stuff. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. Shout outs to Jay McNeil, who was talking about this kind of thing back in 2018. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a great day. This is Brody, signing out.